Hello, my amazing audience, and welcome back to the Sea of Words channel. Today I have for you part 2 of the fifth agreement, just as promised. Part 2. The Power of Doubt. The fifth agreement. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. The fifth agreement is be skeptical, but learn to listen. Be skeptical, because most of what you hear isn't true. You know that humans speak with symbols and that symbols aren't the truth. Symbols are only the truth because we agree, not because they are really the truth. But the second half of the agreement is learn to listen, and the reason is simple. When you learn to listen, you understand the meaning of the symbols that people are using, you understand their story, and the communication improves a lot. Then perhaps, instead of all the confusion among humans who inhabit the earth, there will be clarity. Once you realize that hardly anything you know through symbols is true, then be skeptical has a much bigger meaning. Be skeptical is masterful because it uses the power of doubt to discern the truth. Whenever you hear a message from yourself or from another artist, simply ask, is it truth or is it not truth? Is it reality or is it a virtual reality? The doubt takes you behind the symbols and makes you responsible for every message you deliver and receive. Why would you want to invest your faith in any message that is not true? By being skeptical, you don't believe every message. You don't put your faith in symbols, and when your faith is not in symbols, your faith is in yourself. Then, if faith is believing without a doubt and doubt is not believing, be skeptical. Don't believe. And what will you not believe? Well, you will not believe all the stories that we artists create with our knowledge. You know that most of our knowledge isn't true. The whole symbology isn't true. So don't believe me, don't believe yourself, and don't believe anybody else. The truth doesn't need you to believe it. The truth simply is, and it survives whether you believe it or not. Lies need you to believe them. If you don't believe lies, they don't survive your skepticism, and they simply disappear. But skepticism can go in two directions. One way is to pretend to be skeptical because you think you're too smart to be gullible. Look at how intelligent I am. I don't believe in anything. This is not skepticism. To be skeptical is not to believe everything you hear, and you don't believe because it's not the truth, that's all. The way to be skeptical is just to be aware that the entire humanity believes in lies. You know that humans distort the truth because we are dreaming, and our dream is just a reflection of the truth. Every artist distorts the truth, but you don't need to judge what somebody says or call that person a liar. All of us tell lies in one way or another, and it's not because we want to lie. It's because of what we believe. It's because of the symbols we learned and the way we are applying all of those symbols. Once you are aware of this, the fifth agreement makes a lot of sense, and it can make a very big difference in your life. People will come to you and tell you their personal story. They will tell you their point of view, what they believe is truth, but you won't judge if it's truth or if it's not truth. You don't have any judgment, but you do have respect. You listen to the way other people express their symbols, knowing that whatever they say is distorted by their beliefs. You know that what they are telling you is nothing but a story, and you know that because you can feel it. You just know. But you also know when their words come from truth, and you know without words, and that's the main point. Truth or fiction, you don't have to believe anyone's story. You don't have to form an opinion about what someone says. You don't have to express your own opinion. You don't have to agree or disagree. Just listen. The more impeccable a person is with the word, the clearer the message will be. But the words that come from another artist have nothing to do with you. You know that it's nothing personal. You listen and you understand all the words, but the words no longer affect you. You no longer judge what other people say because you understand what they are doing. They are only letting you know what is going on in their virtual world. You already have the awareness that all artists live in their own dream, in their own world. In that world, whatever they perceive is truth for them, and it could be that it's absolutely true for the artists who are expressing their story, but it's not truth for you. The only truth for you is what you perceive in your world. With this awareness, there's nothing to prove to anyone. It's not about being right or wrong. You respect whatever somebody says because it's another artist speaking. Respect is so important. When you learn to listen, you show respect for the other artists. You show respect for their art, for their creation. All artists have the right to create their art in whatever way they want. They have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. They have the right to say whatever they have to say. But if you don't learn to listen, you will never understand what they're saying. Listening is so important in communication. When you learn to listen, you know exactly what other people want. Once you know what they want, what you do with that information is up to you. You can react or not react. You can agree or disagree with what they say, and that depends on what you want. Just because other people want something, that doesn't mean you have to give them what they want. People are always trying to hook your attention, because through the attention, they can download any information. Many times, you just don't want that information. You listen. You don't want it, you ignore it and change directions. But if that information hooks your attention, then you really want to listen to find out if what someone is saying is important to you. Then you can share your point of view if you want to, knowing that it's just a point of view. That's your choice, but the key is to listen. If you don't learn to listen, you will never understand what I am sharing with you right now. You will jump to conclusions and react like it's your dream, when it's not your dream. When other artists are sharing their dream with you, just be aware that it's their dream. You know what your dream is and what your dream is not. Right now, I'm sharing the way that I perceive the world, the way that I dream, and my stories are truth for me, but I know they are not the real truth, so don't believe me. Whatever I tell you is just my point of view. Of course, from my point of view, I'm sharing the truth with you. I do my best to use words in the most impeccable way so that you can understand what I'm saying. But even if I share an exact copy of the truth with you, I know that you will distort my message as soon as it goes from my mind into yours. You will hear the message and tell yourself the same message in a completely different way, according to your point of view. Then perhaps what I say is the truth, or not the truth, but perhaps what you believe is not the truth. I am only one half of the message. You are the other half. I am responsible for what I say, but I'm not responsible for what you understand. You are responsible for what you understand. You are responsible for whatever you do with what you hear in your head, because you are the one who gives the meaning to every word that you hear. Right now, you are interpreting what I'm saying according to your personal knowledge. You are rearranging the symbols and transforming them in a way that maintains an equilibrium with everything in your belief system. Once you achieve that equilibrium, you may or may not accept my story as the truth, and you can make the assumption that what you are telling yourself is what I intended to say, but it doesn't mean that your assumption is true. You can misinterpret what I say. You can use what you hear to blame me, to blame somebody else, to blame yourself, to blame your religion or philosophy, to be angry with everybody, mainly with yourself. You can also use what you hear to find the truth, to find yourself, to make peace with yourself, and perhaps to change the message that you deliver to yourself. Whatever you do with my words is up to you. It's your dream. and I respect your dream. You don't have to believe me, but if you learn to listen, you can understand what I'm saying, and if the information I'm sharing with you makes sense to you, then you can make it a part of your dream if you want to. You can take whatever works for you and use it to modify your dream, and what doesn't work for you, just ignore. It won't make any difference to me, but it might make a difference to you, because I make the assumption, knowing that it's an assumption, that you want to become a better artist, and that's why you are challenging your own beliefs. Then be skeptical. Don't believe me. Don't believe anybody else, but especially don't believe yourself. When I say, don't believe yourself, oh my goodness, can you see the implication? Don't believe everything you learned? Not believing yourself is a huge advantage, because most of what you learned is not the truth. Everything you know, your whole reality, is nothing but symbols. But you are not that bunch of symbols that talk in your head. You know that, and that's why you are skeptical and you don't believe yourself. If your beliefs are telling you, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm old, I'm a loser, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'll never make it, then don't believe yourself, because it's not true. These messages are distorted. They're nothing but lies. Once you can see the lies, you don't have to believe them. Use the power of doubt to challenge every message that you deliver to yourself. Is it really true that I'm ugly? Is it really true that I'm not good enough? Is this message real, or is it virtual? Of course, it's virtual. None of these messages come from truth, from life. They come from distortions in our knowledge. The truth is, there are no ugly people. There is no good enough or strong enough. There's no universal book of law where any of these judgments are true. These judgments are just agreements that humans make. Can you see the consequences of believing yourself? Believing yourself is one of the worst things you can do, because you've been telling yourself lies your whole life, and if you believe all those lies, that's why your dream isn't a pleasant dream. If you believe what you tell yourself, you may use all those symbols that you learned to hurt yourself. Your personal dream may even be pure hell, because believing in lies is how you create your own hell. If you're suffering, it's not because anybody is making you suffer. It's because you obey the tyrant that's ruling your head. When the tyrant obeys you, when there's no longer a judge or a victim in your mind, you won't be suffering any longer. Your tyrant is ruthless. It's always abusing you by using all those symbols against you. It thrives on emotional poison generated by negative emotions, and the way it generates these emotions in you is by judging and giving opinions. Nobody judges you more than you judge yourself. Of course, you try to escape from the judgment, the guilt, the rejection, the punishment. But how can you escape from your own thoughts? If you don't like someone, you can walk away. If you don't like yourself, wherever you go, you're still there. You can hide from everybody else, but you cannot hide from your own judgment. It seems as if there is no escape. That's why so. Many people overeat, take drugs, abuse alcohol, and become addicted to various substances and behaviors. They try to do whatever they can to avoid their own story, to avoid their own creation that's distorting all those symbols in their head. Some people are suffering from so much emotional pain that they decide to take their own lives. That's what lies can do to any of us. The voice of knowledge can become so distorted and create so much self-hate that it kills the human. And all of this is just because we believe all those opinions that we learned over so many years. Just imagine that all your own opinions, plus all the opinions of everybody around you, are like a huge hurricane inside you. Imagine believing all those opinions. Well, if you're skeptical, if you don't believe yourself, if you don't believe anybody else, then none of these opinions can disturb you or throw you off your center. When you have control over your own symbology, you are always centered. You are always relaxed and calm, because the real you makes the choices in your life, not the symbols. When you want to communicate something, you order the symbols, and that is the way they come out of your mouth. You are the artist, and you can arrange the symbols in any way you want, in any direction you want. Because all those symbols are at your command, you can use the symbols to ask for what you need, to express what you want, what you don't want. You can express your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams in the most beautiful poetry or prose. But just because you use a language to communicate, it doesn't mean that you believe it. Why do you need to believe what you already know? When you are alone and talking to yourself, it's completely meaningless. What can you tell yourself that you don't already know? If you understand the fifth agreement, you will see the reason why you don't need to believe what you can see, what you already know without words. The truth doesn't come with words. The truth is silent. It's something that you just know. It's something that you can feel without words, and it's called silent knowledge. Silent knowledge is what you know before you invest your faith in symbols. When you open yourself to the truth and learn to listen, then all the symbols lose their value, and the only thing that remains is the truth. There's nothing to know. There's nothing to justify. What I'm sharing with you isn't easy to understand, and at the same time, it's so simple that it's obvious. In the end, you are going to realize that languages are symbols that are only true because you think they are, and if you put them aside, what remains? The truth. Then you see a chair, and you won't know what to call it, but you can sit on it, and the truth is there. Matter is truth. Life is truth. Light is truth. Love is truth. The human dream is not truth, but not being truth doesn't mean that it's bad. Being bad is just another concept that is not truth either. Once you realize that you create the whole symbology to communicate with your own kind, then you find out that the symbols are not really good or bad or right or wrong. You make them right or you make them wrong with your beliefs. That is the power of your belief. But the truth is beyond belief. When you go beyond symbols, what you find is a world of perfection, where everyone and everything in creation is perfect. Even the investment of your belief in every word is perfect. Even your anger, your drama, and your lies are perfect. Even the hell that you sometimes live in is perfect, because only perfection exists. Just imagine if you lived your whole life without learning all the lies in your knowledge, without suffering from investing your faith in lies, superstitions, and opinions. You would follow life like the rest of the animals, which means you would keep your innocence your entire life. In the process of domestication, you lose your innocence, but in losing your innocence, you start to search for what you have lost, and this leads you to gain awareness. Once you recover awareness, you become completely responsible for your own evolution, for every choice you make in life. When you are educated by the dream of the planet, you have no choice. You learn so many lies. But maybe it's time to unlearn those lies and relearn how to follow the truth by following your own heart. Unlearning, or what I call undomestication, is a very slow but powerful process. As we said before, every time you take your faith away from a symbol, that power comes back to you. And it keeps coming back to you until finally the entire symbology has no power over you. When you take away the power of every symbol and bring it back to you, the whole dream is powerless. And when all that power has returned to you, you are invincible. Nothing can defeat you. Or perhaps I should say that you can no longer defeat yourself, because it's exactly the same thing. Once you recover all the power you invested in symbols, you don't believe every thought that comes into your head. You don't believe your own story. But you listen to your story, and because you respect your own story, you can enjoy it. When you go to the movies or read a novel, you don't believe it, but you can enjoy it, right? Once you can see the difference between reality and the virtual reality, you know that you can trust reality. And you don't have to trust the virtual reality, but you can enjoy both. You can enjoy what is, and you can enjoy what you create. Even though you know your story isn't true, you can create the most beautiful story, and you can guide your life through that story. You can create your personal heaven and live in that heaven. And if you can understand other people's stories and they can understand yours, then together you can create the most beautiful dream. But first, you need to unlearn a lot, and the fifth agreement is another perfect tool for that. Wherever you go around the world, you will hear all kinds of opinions and stories from other people. You will find great storytellers wanting to tell you what you should do with your life. You should do this, you should do that, you should do whatever. Don't believe them. Escaticol, but learn to listen and then make your choices. Be responsible for every choice you make in your life. This is your life. It's nobody else's life. And you will find that it's nobody else's business what you do with your life. For centuries, there have been people who claim to know the will of God and who go around the world preaching goodness and rightness and condemning everybody. For centuries, there have been prophets who predicted big catastrophes in the world. Not that long ago, there were people who predicted that in the year zero all the computers would fail and society as we know it would disappear. Some people thought that we would return to the time of the caveman. The day arrived, we celebrated the new century, the new year, and what happened? Nothing happened. Thousands of years ago, just like today, there were prophets who were waiting for the end of the world. At that time, a great master said, there will be many false prophets who claim to be speaking the word of God. Don't believe. You see, the fifth agreement is not really new. Escatikal, but learn to listen. The dream of the first attention, the victims. This brings me to the story about Adam and Eve in paradise. Adam and Eve represent all humans, and God told us that we could eat whatever we wanted except for the fruit of the tree of knowledge. The day that we eat the fruit of this tree, we would die. Well, we ate it, and we died. Of course, this is just a story, but the important thing is the meaning of this story. Why do we die when we eat the fruit of this tree? Because the real name for the tree of knowledge is the tree of death. The other tree in paradise is the tree of life. Life is truth, and the truth just is without words or symbols. The tree of knowledge is just a reflection of the tree of life. We already know that knowledge is created with symbols, and that symbols aren't real. When we eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge, the symbols become a virtual reality that talks to us as the voice of knowledge, and we live in that reality believing that it's real, which means without awareness. Of course, it's obvious that humans ate the fruit of the tree of death. From my point of view, there are billions of humans walking around in this world who are dead, but they don't know they are dead. Yes, their bodies are alive, but they are dreaming without any awareness that they are dreaming. And this is what the Toltec call the dream of the first attention. The dream of the first attention is the dream that we create by using our attention for the very first time. This is what I also call the ordinary dream of the humans, or we can say that it's the dream of the victims, because we are victims of all the symbols that we create. We are victims of all the voices in our head. We are victims of all the superstitions and distortions in our knowledge. In the dream of the victims, where most people live, we are victimized by our religion, by our government, by our entire way of thinking and believing. When we are children, We cannot defend ourselves against all the lies that come with the whole tree of knowledge. As we said before, our parents, schools, religion, and our entire society hook our attention and introduce us to their opinions and beliefs. We believe in the religion that we believe in because our parents believe in that religion, because they take us to church or another place of worship, and we learn to believe everything we are told. The adults who take care of us tell us their stories, and we go to school, and we hear more stories. We learn the story of our country. We learn about all the heroes, all the wars, all the human suffering. The adults prepare us to be a part of our society, and I can say without a doubt that it's a society ruled completely by lies. We learn to live in the same dream they live in. Our faith gets trapped in the structure of that dream, and that dream becomes normal for us. But I don't believe that they did this with any bad intention. The adults can only teach us what they know. They cannot teach us what they don't know. What they know is what they learned in their whole lives. It's what they believed in their whole lives. You can be sure that your parents did the best they could for you at the time. If they didn't do better, it's because they didn't know any better. You can bet that they had all kinds of judgments about themselves and that everybody else was judging them too. They lived in the dream of the first attention, the underworld, the dream that we call Hades or hell. They were dead. Of course, all these symbols are not exactly the truth. The truth is behind the symbols, it's in the intent or the meaning of the symbols. When religions describe the dream of hell, they say it's a place where we burn, a place where we are judged, a place of eternal punishment. Well, that description of hell is the ordinary dream of the humans. That very same thing is happening in the human mind, the judgment, the guilt, the punishment, and the emotions generated by fear that feel like a fire burning inside us. Fear is king of the underworld, and it rules our world by creating the distortions in our knowledge. Fear creates the whole world of injustice and emotional drama, the whole nightmare that billions of people are living in. And what is the biggest fear in this world? Fear of the truth. Humans are afraid of the truth because we have learned to believe so many lies. Of course, we're also afraid of the lies we believe. Truth or fiction, just having knowledge makes us feel safe. But then we suffer because we believe what we know, and almost everything we know isn't true. It's just a point of view. But we believe it, and we deliver the same distorted messages to our own children. The whole chain continues, and the history of the humans repeats itself again and again and again. Long ago, wise people compared the dream of the first attention to a marketplace where thousands of people are talking at the same time and nobody is really listening. The Toltec call this a mitote, which is a Nahuatl word meaning extreme gossip. In that mitote, we use the word against ourselves, and when we relate with other people, we use the word against them. Every human is a magician, and in the interaction between the magicians, there are spells being cast everywhere. How? By misusing the word, by taking everything personally, by distorting everything we perceive with assumptions, by gossiping and spreading emotional poison with the word. Humans cast spells mainly upon the people we love the most, and the more authority we have, the more powerful the spells. Authority is the power that a human has to control other humans, to make them obey. You can see yourself as a child being afraid of authority. You can also see adults being afraid of authority. Words spoken with authority become a powerful spell that affects other humans. Why? Because we believe those words. If we understand the power of symbology, we can see where the symbols are taking us. We can see it by the way we behave, by the interaction we have with everybody, but mainly with ourselves. We become possessed by an idea, by a belief, by a story. Sometimes it's anger that possesses us. Sometimes it's jealousy that possesses us. Sometimes it's love that possesses us. The symbols are competing for control of our attention, and in one way or another they're changing all the time. They're taking turns possessing us. There are thousands of symbols that want to take their place in our head and control us. As we said before, all those symbols are alive, and that life comes from us because we believe. The symbols are talking and talking inside our head. They never stop. It's just as if we have a narrator in our head telling us everything that is happening around us, as if we are not aware that we are perceiving it. And now, the sun is going down. That's good, I'm hot. Look, there are trees over there. What is that person doing? I wonder what he's thinking. The voice of knowledge wants to know what everything means. It can hardly wait to interpret everything that happens in our lives. It's telling us what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. It's reminding us all the time what we believe about ourselves, what we don't believe about ourselves. It's telling us everything that we are not. It's asking us why we can't be the way we should be. In the dream of the first attention, the world we live in is just like a reality show hosted by the voice of knowledge. And for sure, we are always going to be right and everyone else is going to be wrong because we use everything that we know to justify everything in our show. What a reality show! Rated number 1. We create every character in that story, and whatever we believe about every one of them is not the truth, and it never was the truth. With a whole tree of knowledge living in our head, we no longer perceive the truth. We only perceive our own knowledge. We only perceive lies. When we only perceive lies, our attention becomes trapped in the dream of hell. We no longer perceive the reality of heaven all around us. And this is how humans fell from paradise. In the story of Adam and Eve, we had a great exchange with a snake who lived in the tree of knowledge. That snake was a fallen angel who delivered distorted messages. He was the prince of lies and we were innocent. The snake said to us, "Do you want to be like God?" A simple question, but can you see the trick? If we had said, "No, thank you, I am already God," we would still be living in paradise, but we answered, "Yes, I want to be like God." We didn't notice the lie. We bit the fruit, we swallowed the lie, and we died. What makes us bite the apple without noticing the lie is the doubt. Before we have the doubt, we don't even know. The truth is there and we just live it. Once we ingest the lie, we no longer believe that we are God, and this is when we start to search for God. Next, we believe that we have to create a temple to find God. We need a place to worship God. We have to sacrifice everything to reach God. We have to create pain in ourselves and offer our pain to God. Very soon we have a big temple with thousands of people believing that they are not God. Of course, we need to give God a name, and the result is the creation of religion. We create the god of thunder, the god of war, the goddess of love, and we call them Zeus, Mars, and Aphrodite. There were thousands, maybe millions of people who believed in these gods and worshipped these gods. They offered their lives as a sacrifice to these gods. They even killed their own children as an offering to these gods because they believed these gods were the truth. But were they? As you can see, the first lie that we believe is, "I am not God." From this lie comes another lie, and then another, and then another, and we believe and believe and believe. Very soon there are so many lies that it's overwhelming, and we forget our own divinity. We see the beauty and perfection of God, and we want to be like God. We want to be that image of perfection, and we search and search for perfection. Humans are storytellers, and we tell our children stories about a God who is perfect, about a God who judges us and punishes us when we misbehave. We tell them about a Santa Claus who rewards little children who are good, or more like God. These messages are distorted. The kind of God who plays with justice doesn't exist. Santa Claus doesn't exist. All that knowledge in our head isn't real. You see, when we talk to the snake in the tree of knowledge, we talk to a distorted reflection of ourselves. That snake in the tree of knowledge is who we are really so afraid of. We're afraid of our own reflection. Isn't that silly? Imagine looking at a reflection of yourself in the mirror. The reflection appears to be an exact copy of what is real, but the image in the mirror is the opposite of what is real. Your right hand is your left hand in the mirror. The truth is always distorted by the reflection. When we are children, the mirrors around us hook our attention so we can see them, and what we see are distorted images of ourselves, according to their mood, according to the moment, when those mirrors are reflecting to us, according to whatever belief system they are using to justify their perceptions. The humans around us tell us what they believe we are, but there isn't a clear mirror to reflect what we really are. All the mirrors are completely distorted. They project what they believe onto us, and almost everything they believe is a lie. We believe it, or we don't believe it, but when we are children, we are innocent, and we believe almost everything. We put our faith in lies, we give them life, we give them power, and soon those lies are ruling our lives. The story of the Prince of Lies is just a story, but it's a beautiful story made with symbols that we can understand and then draw conclusions. I think its meaning is clear. Once we start dreaming that we are not God, the whole nightmare begins. We fall from paradise and go directly to the underworld, to what we call hell. We begin to search for God, we begin to search for ourself, because the tree of knowledge is living our life and our authentic self is dead. And this reminds me of another story about Jesus the Christ, who was walking with his disciples when he saw a man who was worthy of his teachings. He went to the man and said, "Come and join me." The man replied, "I will come, but my father just died. I have to bury him, and then I will follow you." And Jesus told him, "Let the dead bury the dead. You are alive. Come with me." If you understand the story, it's easy to see that you are dead when you are not awake, when you are not aware of what you are. You are truth, you are life, you are love. But in the process of domestication, the outside dream, the dream of the planet, hooks your attention and feeds you all of your beliefs. Little by little, you become a copy of the outside dream. You copy everything you learn from everybody and everything around you. You copy not just beliefs, but behavior, which means you copy not just what people say, but what they do. You perceive the emotional state of the people around you, and you even copy that. You are not who you really are because you have been possessed by that distorted image of you. And this may be a little difficult to understand, but all this time it has been you who possesses you. What is possessing you is the virtual you. It's what you think you are, it's what you believe you are, and that image of yourself becomes extremely powerful. All these years of practice have made you a master of pretending to be what you think you are. And that distorted image of yourself is really your grave, because the real you is not the one who is living your life. And who is living your life? Is it the real you who creates all the drama and suffering in your life? Is it the real you who says life is a valley of tears and we come here to suffer? Is it the real you who judges yourself and punishes yourself and invites other people to punish you too? Is it the real you who abuses your body? Is it the real you who doesn't even like yourself? Is it really the real you who's dreaming all that? No, it's not the real you. You are dead, and that's the truth. And what is the key to coming back to life? Awareness. When you recover awareness, you resurrect and come back to life. In the Christian tradition, the resurrection day is when the Christ comes back from the dead and shows his divinity to the world. That's why you are here, to come back from the dead and reclaim your own divinity. It's time to come back from the world of illusion, the world of lies, and return to your own truth, to your own authenticity. It's time to unlearn the lies and become the real you. And in order to do that, you need to come back to life, which is truth. Awareness is the key to coming back to life, and it's one of the main masteries of the Toltec. Awareness takes you out of the dream of the first attention into the dream of the second attention, where you rebel against all the lies that are ruling your head. You rebel, and the whole dream starts changing. The dream of the second attention, the warriors. The first time that we learn how to dream, there are many things that we don't like, that we are against, but we just accept the dream as it is. Then, for whatever reason, we become aware that we don't like the way we are living our lives. We become aware of what we are dreaming, and we don't want that dream. Now we try to use the attention a second time to change our dream, to create a second dream. This is what the Toltec call the dream of the second attention, or the dream of the warriors, because now we declare a war against all the lies in our knowledge. In the dream of the second attention, we begin to doubt, maybe everything I learned is not the truth. We begin to challenge what we believe. We start to question all the opinions that we learned. We know there is something in our head that makes us do many things that perhaps we don't want to do, something that has complete control of our mind, and we don't like it. And because we don't like it, at a certain point, we begin to rebel. In that rebellion, we try to recover our authenticity, what I call the integrity of the self, or the totality of what we are. In the dream of the first attention, the authentic self has no chance. It's a complete victim. We don't rebel, we don't even try. But now we no longer want to be the victim, and we try to change our world. We try to recover our personal freedom, the freedom to be who we really are, the freedom to do what we really want to do. The world of the warriors is the world of trying. We try to change the world that we don't like, and we keep trying and trying and trying, and the war looks endless. In the dream of the warriors, we are in a war, but that war is not against other people. It has nothing to do with the outside dream. The whole thing is happening inside our mind. It's a war against the part of our mind that makes all the choices that guide us into our personal hell. It's a war between the authentic self and what we call the tyrant, the big budge, the book of law, the belief system. It's a war between ideas, between opinions, between beliefs. I also call it the war of the gods, because all these ideas fight for dominion of the human mind. And just like the gods of antiquity, they claim a human sacrifice. Yes, the human sacrifice we offer to the gods is still happening, even if we claim that we don't believe in human sacrifice anymore. Of course, we change the names of the gods. We change the meaning of all those symbols that we call God. Perhaps we no longer believe in Apollo, we no longer believe in Zeus, we no longer believe in Osiris, but we believe in justice, we believe in liberty, we believe in democracy. These are the names of the new gods. We give our power to these symbols, we take them to the realm of the gods, and we sacrifice our lives in the name of these gods. Human sacrifice is happening all the time, all around the world, and we can see the result. We see violence, we see crime, We see jails full of people. We see war. We see the dream of hell in humanity because we believe in so many superstitions and distortions in our knowledge. Humans create wars, and we send our young to be sacrificed in those wars. Many times they don't even know what they are fighting for. We see a war of gangs in any large city. Young people sacrifice themselves and kill one another in the name of pride, in the name of profit, in the name of whatever God they believe in. They fight for their pride. They fight for control of a piece of land. They fight for a symbol that's in their heads and on their jackets, and they sacrifice themselves. From the smallest barrio to the largest nations around the planet, we see groups of people fighting and defending their gods for something that doesn't exist. The war is raging inside their heads, but the problem is that they send the war outside of themselves and kill one another. Perhaps we no longer believe in human sacrifice, but right now there are people who say, I will be the one who sacrifices. Give me a gun, and I will kill as many people as I can before they kill me. And this is not a judgment, it's just the way it is. I will not say that human sacrifice is wrong, it just exists, and we cannot deny that it exists because we see it every day in many different cultures around the world. We see it, and we also participate in it. If someone makes a mistake and is caught breaking a rule, what do? Let's crucify him, let's judge him, let's gossip about him. That's another form of human sacrifice. Yes, there are rules, and maybe it's the biggest sin to go against those rules, and maybe some of those rules are completely unnatural. But we create the rules. We agree to live by those rules, and we will follow those rules until we no longer need them. And right now, we need them. Humans believe in so many lies that even the smallest thing becomes a big demon that makes us suffer. Usually it's just a judgment, and mainly it's a self-judgment. Poor me. Look what happened to me when I was 9 years old. Look what happened to me last night. Well, whatever happened in your past is not truth anymore. It could be the most horrible thing, but right now, it's not truth. Because right now is the only truth you live in. Whatever happened in your past is in the virtual reality, and whatever happened to your body was healed long ago. But the mind can make you suffer and live in shame for years. Humans carry our past, our history, around with us, and it's just like we're carrying a heavy corpse. For some it's not that heavy, but for the majority of people that corpse is very heavy. And it's not just heavy, it smells very bad. What many of us do is keep our corpse to share with the ones we love. With the powerful memory we have, we bring it to life in the present moment and relive our experiences again and again and again. Every time we remember those experiences, we punish ourselves and everybody else again and again and again. Humans are the only animals on Earth who punish themselves 1,000 times or more for the same mistake, and who punish everybody else 1,000 times or more for the same mistake. How can we talk about injustice in the rest of the world when there is no justice in the world inside our own head? The entire universe is ruled by justice, but by true justice, not by the distortion of justice that we artists have created. True justice is facing what I call action-reaction. We live in a world of consequences. For every action there's a reaction. True justice is to pay one time for every mistake we make. And how many times do we pay for every mistake? Obviously, this is not justice. Let's say that you're living with guilt and shame for a mistake that you made 10 years ago. The excuse for your suffering is, I made a terrible mistake, and you think you're still suffering for something that happened 10 years ago, but the truth is that you're suffering from something that happened 10 seconds ago. You judged yourself again for the same mistake, and of course the big judge says you need to be punished. It's simple. Action. Reaction? The action is self-judgment. The reaction is self-punishment in the form of guilt and shame. All your life you repeat the same action, hoping to have a different reaction, and it never happens. The only way to change your life is to change the action, and then the reaction will change. Can you see how you, knowledge, are hurting you, the human? You're thinking and judging with all those symbols that you learned. You're creating a story that's abusing the human. Whenever the human is abused, the normal reaction is anger, hate, jealousy, or any of the emotions that make us suffer. Our nervous system is a factory of emotions, and the emotions we experience depend on what we perceive. Well, we perceive our own judgments, our own belief system, our own voice of knowledge. And with the judge, the victim, and the belief system ruling our virtual world, the emotions we generate are fear, anger, jealousy, guilt, shame. What else can we expect to create? Love? Of course not, though sometimes we do. The word is a force you cannot see, but you can see the manifestation of that force, the expression of the word, which is your own life. The way to measure the impeccability of your word is by your emotional reaction. Are you happy or are you suffering? If you're enjoying your dream or suffering your dream, it's because you're creating it that way. Yes, your parents, your religion, the schools, the government, the entire society helped you to create your dream. And it's true that you never had a choice. But now you have a choice. You can create heaven or you can create hell. Remember, both are states of mind that exist within you. Do you like to be happy? Then be happy and enjoy your happiness. Do you like to suffer? Great. Then why not enjoy your suffering? If you choose to create hell, good for you. Cry, have pain, make a masterpiece of art with your pain. But if you have awareness, there is no way you are going to choose hell, you are going to choose heaven. And the way to choose heaven is by being impeccable with your word. If you're impeccable with your word, how can you judge yourself? How can you blame yourself? How can you carry guilt or shame? When you are not creating all those emotions, you feel wonderful. Now you smile again, and it's completely authentic. You don't have to pretend to be a certain way. You don't try to be what you are not. Whatever you are is what you will be in that moment. In that moment, you accept yourself just the way you are. You like yourself. You enjoy being with yourself. You no longer abuse yourself by using the symbols against yourself. That's why I have to repeat that it's so important to be aware. The tyranny of the symbols is extremely powerful. In the dream of the second attention, the warrior tries to find out how the symbols took power over the human. The whole war of the warrior is against the symbols, against our own creation. And it's not because we hate the symbols. The symbols are a masterful creation. They're our art, and it's convenient for us to use all those symbols to communicate. But when we give all our power to those symbols, we become powerless, and we need to be rescued. We need a savior because we don't have the power to make it on our own. Then we look outside ourselves and say, "Oh God, please save me." But it's not up to God or Jesus or Buddha or Moses or Muhammad or any master, shaman or guru to save us. We can't blame them if they don't save us. Nobody can save us because nobody else is responsible for whatever happens in our virtual world. The priest, the minister, the rabbi, the shaman or the guru cannot change our world. Our husband or our wife, our children or our friends cannot change it. No one else can change our world because that world only lives in our head. Many people say that Jesus died for us to save us from our sins. Well, it's a wonderful story, but Jesus doesn't make the choices in our lives. Instead of saving us, Jesus told us what to do. You need help? Okay. You need to follow the truth. You need to forgive. Love one another. He gave us all the tools, but we say, no, I cannot forgive. I prefer to live with my emotional poison, with my pride, with my anger, and my jealousy. If we are fighting with the people we love, if we're creating a lot of resistance around us, remember, we live in a world of consequences. We have to let go of that first. We have to forgive, because forgiveness is the only way to clear our emotional body of emotional poison. All of us have emotional poison because all of us have emotional wounds. It happens. Just as it's normal for our body to hurt when we have a cut or when we fall and break a bone, it's normal for the emotional body to hurt because we are alive, because we are surrounded by predators, and we are predators also. But there's no one to blame. It's just the way it is. If we blame, it's our emotional poison that makes us blame. Instead of blaming, we can take responsibility for our own healing. If you're waiting for someone to come and save you, well, you have to save yourself. You are your own savior, but there are teachers who give you tools to help you recover awareness and win your personal war. There are artists who can show you how to create a masterpiece of heaven with your art. Let's say that you're a good artist, but then a master artist comes along and says, I like you. I want you to be my apprentice. Come, I will teach you. The first and most important tool for you to become a master artist is be impeccable with your word. It's something so simple. You write your own story, and you don't want to write the story against yourself. Second, don't take anything personally. That will help you a lot. Most of the drama goes away if you just agree with that. Third, don't make assumptions. Don't create your own hell. Stop believing in superstitions and lies. And fourth, always do your best. Take action. Practice makes the master. Very simple. Then the moment comes when you start to see your whole creation from another point of view. You start to realize that you are the artistic creator of your life. You are the one who creates the canvas, the paintbrush, and the art. You are the one who gives meaning to every stroke on the canvas of your life. You are the one who invests all your faith in your art. And you say, the story I'm creating is beautiful, but I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe my story or anybody else's story. I can see that it's just art. Great. That's the fifth agreement. Come back to common sense, to the truth, to the real you. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. In the dream of the second attention, you need tools to win the war and change your world, and that's what these agreements are all about. These are the tools for transforming your dream, for mastering your dream, and it's up to you what you do with these tools. These 5 simple agreements have the power to plant a seed of doubt in all those limiting, fear-based agreements you made your whole life. The only chance you have to unlearn the lies in your knowledge is by use of the attention. You use the attention to put your first dream together, and you use the attention to unlearn that dream. The 4 agreements are the tools for using your attention a second time to create your personal heaven, and the 5th agreement is the tool to win the war against the tyranny of the symbols. The 4 agreements are tools for your personal transformation, and the 5th agreement is the end of personal transformation and the beginning of giving yourself the greatest gift that you can give yourself, the gift of doubt. We have said that it was doubt that made us fall out of paradise. Well, coming back to paradise is once again about doubt. Doubt is the tool we use to recover our faith, to take our power back from every lie and superstition we believe in, and return that power to ourselves. Of course, we can also use the power of doubt against ourselves by doubting the truth. In the story of Adam and Eve, when we doubt that we are God, that doubt opens the door to another doubt, and then another and another. When we doubt the truth, we start to believe in lies. Soon we believe in so many lies that we no longer see the truth, and we fall from the dream of heaven. Doubt is a great creation we made for going into hell or getting out of hell. Either way, doubt opens the door to be possessed by symbols, or doubt closes the door to stop the possession. If we doubt ourselves, if we doubt the truth, the whole tree of knowledge, all the mythology that controlled our attention our entire lives, starts coming back to us. The voice of knowledge starts possessing us again, and we begin to feel the anger, the jealousy, the injustice that come with all the symbols, with all the assumptions, with all that thinking. Then, instead of doubting yourself, have faith in yourself. Instead of doubting the truth, doubt the lies. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. The fifth agreement opens the door to heaven, and the rest is up to you. This agreement is about being in heaven and heaven being in you. It's about letting go of your attachment to symbols, even your own name, and merging with the infinite to become authentic, to believe in yourself without a doubt, because even a little doubt can end the experience of heaven. When you have faith in yourself, you follow every instinct that you were born with. You have no doubt about what you are, and you return to common sense. You have all the power of your authenticity. You trust yourself. You trust life. You trust that everything is going to be just fine, and life becomes extremely easy. The mind no longer needs to understand everything. It doesn't need to know. You know something, or you don't know it, but you don't have any doubt if you know or not. If you don't know, you accept that you don't know. You're not going to make it up. When you are completely authentic, you speak the truth to yourself, without any doubt. I like it, I don't like it, I want it, I don't want it. You don't have to do what you don't like to do. You enjoy your life doing exactly what you like to do. We make life difficult when we try to sacrifice ourselves for somebody else. Surely you are not here to sacrifice yourself for anybody. You are not here to satisfy other people's opinions or points of view. In the dream of the second attention, one of the first challenges is the fear of being yourself, your real self. If you have the courage to face this challenge, you find out that all the reasons you were afraid don't even exist. Then you find out that it's much easier to be yourself than to try to be what you are not. The whole dream of hell makes you tired because it takes energy to uphold an image, to wear a social mask. You're tired of faking it. You're tired of not being you. Just being authentic is the best thing you can do. When you're authentic, you can do whatever you want to do. You can believe whatever you want to believe, and that includes believing in yourself. How difficult can it be to have faith in yourself, to believe in you instead of believing in symbols? You can put your faith in scientific theories, in so many religions, opinions, and points of view, but this is not real faith. Faith in yourself is the real faith. Real faith is to trust yourself unconditionally, because you know what you really are, and what you really are is the truth. Once you recover awareness of what you are, the war in your head is over. It's obvious that you are the one who creates all the symbols. And because it's obvious where the power of your word comes from, your word has power, and nothing can stop the power of your word. Your word becomes impeccable, and it's impeccable because you have power over the symbols instead of the symbols having power over you. Once your word is impeccable, you base every choice of your life on the truth, and you win the war against the tyrant. The words are there, ready to be used at your command, but the words only have meaning when you use them to communicate, to have a direct connection with someone. After you stop using the words, they have no meaning again. By the end of the dream of the second attention, the human form starts to break apart, and your reality changes once again. It changes because you no longer perceive the world through a rigid structure of beliefs. The war is over because your faith is not invested in lies. Even though lies still exist, you no longer believe. As you know, the truth just is. You don't have to believe the truth. You don't believe anything anymore, but you can see. And what you can see is the truth. The truth is right here. It's unique and it's perfect. Maybe not the way you interpret it, maybe not the way you use the word to gossip about yourself or to gossip about other people, but once you see the truth, who cares what other people are dreaming? It's not important what other people around you are dreaming. What's important is your own experience, to use all the tools you have to face what you believe, to see the truth, to win your personal war. You don't need to compete with anybody. You don't need to compare yourself with anybody. You just need to be what you are, to be love, but real love. Not the kind of love that possesses you and makes you believe in love. Not the love that makes you become jealous and possessive of others and puts you directly in hell with all the tortures and punishments of hell. Not the love that makes you sacrifice in the name of love or makes you hurt yourself and hurt others in the name of love. The symbol of love has become so distorted. Real love is what you were born with. Real love is what you are. You were born with everything you need to make it. If you face your fears today, tomorrow you will see the dream of the second attention, the world of the warriors. But just because you win against fear today, it doesn't mean that you have won the war. No, the war isn't over. The war has just begun. You are still judging. You still have all those issues. You think it's done, and boom, your tyrant is back. Oh yes, again and again and again. And it's not just the tyrant in you, it's the tyrant in everybody around you. And there are some that are worse than others. But even if you have been at war for many years, at least you can defend yourself. As a warrior, you may win the war or you may lose the war, but once you have awareness, you are no longer a victim. You are at war, and that's where the majority of people are right now until the war is over. In the dream of the second attention, you begin to create your personal heaven on earth. You begin to put your faith in agreements that support life, that add to your joy, to your happiness, to your freedom. But this is just one step of your evolution. There's much more than that. The moment is coming when you master awareness, which means you master the truth. And by the way, you also master transformation. You master love, intent, or faith, because by that time, you believe in yourself. The result of this transformation is the creation of another reality that has the same frame as the first two dreams. But in this other reality, you no longer believe what you used to believe. You no longer believe the lies that you learned. You don't even believe the words that you learned. You have no doubt about what you experience, about what you are. The next dream, the dream of the third attention, is not that far away. But first you have to win the war in your head, and now you have the tools to do it. Then why not do it? Take the action, but don't try anymore. If you try, you will die trying. And I can assure you that millions of warriors have died trying. There are very few warriors who ever win the war that's happening in the human mind, but those who win the war by using their attention a second time recreate their entire world. The dream of the third attention, the masters. The dream of the second attention ends when something very important happens in our lives, something called the last judgment. This is the very last time we judge either ourselves or anybody else. It's the day we accept ourselves just the way we are, and we accept everybody else just the way they are. When the day of our last judgment comes, the war in our head is over, and the dream of the third attention begins. And it will be the end of our world, but also the beginning of our world, because we are no longer in the dream of the warriors. We are in the upper world, or what I call the dream of the masters. The masters are former warriors. They have won their personal war, and they are at peace. The dream of the masters is a dream of truth, a dream of respect, a dream full of love and joy. It's the playground of life. It's what we are meant to live, and only awareness can take us to that place. Many religions talk about the last judgment as if it's a punishment for sinners. They describe it as the day when God comes and judges us and destroys all the sinners. This isn't true. The Last Judgment is a card in the tarot, which is an ancient mythology from Egypt. When the mystery schools talk about the Last Judgment, we can hardly wait for that day, because it's the day when the dead come out of their grave, which means we resurrect. It's the day when we recover awareness and awaken from the dream of the underworld. It's the day when we're no longer afraid to be alive again. This is when we come back to our real state, our divine self, where we feel a communion of love with everything in existence. The resurrection is a wonderful concept from mystery schools all around the world. Once you have the awareness that almost everything you learned through symbols is not the truth, the only thing left is just to enjoy life, and that's the resurrection. When you give meaning to everything through symbols, your attention is dispersed on many things at once. When you take away the meaning from everything, you are in communion, and you become the whole thing to yourself. You become the only living being that exists. There's no difference between you and any star in the sky, or you and any rock in the desert. Everything in existence is part of the only living being in existence. When you experience this truth, even for a moment, the whole structure of your belief system disappears, and you are in that wonderful dream of heaven. Today can be a day just like every other day, or today can be a day of celebration, the day of your resurrection, the day that you change your world by coming back to life. It can be the day for the real you to come out of that grave of believing that you are what you think you are and become what you really are. In the dream of the third attention, you finally have the awareness of what you are, but not with words. And because there are no words to explain what you are, you go back into peace, the place where you don't need to use words to know what you are. This is what the masters in the esoteric philosophies would reveal to their apprentices. The highest point you can reach is when you go beyond symbols and become one with life, with God. Ancient religions claim that nobody can say the name of God, and it's absolutely true, because there is no symbol to describe God. The only way to know God is to be God. When you become God, you say, "Oh, that's why I could not learn the symbol." The truth is that we don't know the name of the one who created us. The word God is just a symbol that represents what really exists, and I resist this word because it's a symbol that has become so distorted. If we use symbols to describe God, we need to agree on the meaning of the symbols, and then what point of view are we using? There are billions of different points of view. As an artist, I do my best to paint God with words, and it's the only thing I can offer. A picture of God from my personal point of view. Whatever I say, of course, is just a story that's only the truth for me. And maybe this will make sense to you, and maybe it won't, but at least you will have an idea of my personal point of view. The dream of the masters is a little difficult to explain because the real teaching is not with words, it's with the presence. If you could feel the presence of a master, you would learn much more than you can from words. Words can't express even a tiny bit of the experience, but if you use your imagination, words can take you to the place where you can have the experience for yourself. And this is my intention right now, for you to expand your awareness to the point where you can perceive what you really are, where you can feel what you really are. Instead of using words, perhaps a better way is to put you face to. Face with God, so you can see God. And if I show you God face to face, what you are going to see is yourself. Believe it or don't believe it, but you will see yourself because you are the manifestation of God. And if you could see what's moving your body, then you would see the real God. Look at your own hand. Move your fingers. The force that moves your fingers is what the Toltec call intent, or what I call life, the infinite, or God. Intent is the only living being that exists, and it's that force that is moving everything. You are not the fingers, you are the force that is moving them. The fingers obey you. You can give whatever explanation you want. Oh, my brain, my nerves. But if you go for the truth, the force that moves your fingers is the same force that makes you dream. It's the same force that opens a flower, or moves the wind, or creates a tornado, or makes the stars move throughout the universe, or makes electrons move around atoms. There is only one living being, and you are that being. You are that force that manifests itself in infinite ways throughout all the universes. The first manifestation of that force is light, or energy, which is the same thing, and everything is created through this energy. Scientists know that everything is made of energy, and since there is only one force in the universe that creates this energy, at this point science and religion come together, and we can understand that we are God because we are light. That is what we are. That is what everything is in billions and billions of different frequencies or manifestations of light, and together all the different frequencies create only one light. Intent is the force that creates the light, and we can say that light is the messenger of intent, because it carries the message of life that goes everywhere. Light has all the information to create everything in existence, including any kind of life, humans, monkeys, dogs, trees, anything. All species of life on planet Earth are created from a specific ray or frequency of light that scientists call DNA. And the difference between the DNA itself may be minimal, but in the manifestation it could be the difference between a human and a monkey, or a human and a jaguar, or a human and a tree. Light has many properties. It's alive, it's a living being, and it's extremely intelligent. It's creating all of the time. It's transforming all of the time, and it cannot be destroyed. Light is everywhere, and everything is full of light, but we cannot see light unless it's reflected by matter. If we send an object into space from planet Earth, we see the object because it is reflecting light. There are no empty spaces between the stars, between the galaxies, between all the universes, which means all the universes are connected. You are a whole universe. The Earth is another universe. The Sun and all the planets around the Sun are another universe. All the solar systems together create another universe, and we can keep going and going until we see only one living being made by billions and billions of different living beings. Every living being is protected by the force that we call soul. The soul is the force that puts an entire universe together and recognizes the totality of that being. The soul makes matter impenetrable. which means it creates what looks like a division between beings. The soul gives shape to everything. Without this force, there would be no difference between you and a flower or a fish or a bird. Your soul was born at the moment of your conception, and it recognizes every element of itself, every molecule, every cell, every organ of your being. Your soul recognizes everything that belongs to your universe, and it rejects everything that doesn't belong to it. In the dream of the third attention, you're aware that your body is a whole universe made by billions of living beings, made by atoms, made by molecules, made by cells, made by tissues, made by organs, made by systems, until the whole universe is one. And from the point of view of the mind, it looks like there's only one point of view, the one behind your eyes. But if you go deep into awareness, you find that every atom in your body has a personal point of view, because every atom is alive. Every atom is an entire universe. It's nothing but a miniature solar system with stars and planets. What every universe has in common is that each one of them is alive with the total power of the infinite. You, that force, are alive. You are total power. You are truth. You are real. Everything else, including everything you know through symbols, is not truth. It's not real. It's an illusion, and it's beautiful. Light is not just intelligent. It has memory. It creates an image of itself. It creates the whole world of illusion that becomes your mind the way you dream. Your dreams are not matter. They are a reflection of matter, and that reflection exists in the matter that we call the brain. The brain is nothing but a mirror. As we said before, if you look inside a mirror, you are seeing your own mind, your own dream. The first time you open your eyes, you start to perceive light, and light becomes your teacher. Light projects information into your eyes that you don't understand, but you were made to perceive light, to become one with light, because light is your other half. And because you are light, you are always creating, and always transforming, and always evolving. Light goes directly into your brain and rearranges your brain in order to modify you, virtual reality, to make you a better reflection of itself. When light is modifying your brain, the brain by itself is modifying God's factory, the DNA, for the next possible human being that can come from you. And just as your body has many different organs, brain, heart, lungs, liver, stomach, skin, that all together create you, a totality, every organ in your body is made by different kinds of cells that create that organ. Do the cells know that together all of the cells are only one living being, which means you? Do we humans know that together all of the humans are only one living being, which means humanity? You are surrounded by billions of humans just like you. They were programmed to be human, male or female. You recognize them. You know they are humans, like you. You know. But perhaps what you don't know is that we humans are an organ of the beautiful planet Earth. Planet Earth is alive. It's a living being, and the entire humanity works for the planet as an organ of that living being. The forests are another organ, the atmosphere is another organ, every species is another organ, and we all work together to create an equilibrium that is the metabolism of planet Earth. All of humanity is only one living being, and this is no longer a theory. We humans live together. We have the same kind of body. We have the same kind of mind. We have the same needs. We create all those symbols to understand one another. Male or female, victims, warriors, or masters, we are all the same. No human is better or worse than any other human. No human is better or worse than anything that exists throughout the universe. At the deepest level of our being, there is no difference between a human and a dog, or a human and a flea, or a fly, or a flower. We are the same. We come from the same place, and it doesn't matter where our story comes from. It doesn't matter if we are a Christian, a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Hindu. We come from the same place, and we're going back to the same place. The infinite creates everything in existence, and when the cycle is over, everything returns to the infinite. Of course the body dies because the body is mortal, but you, the Force, are immortal. In that force where the mind lives, the only thing that dies are the lies. In ancient Egypt it was said, "If your heart is lighter than a feather when you die, then welcome to heaven. If your heart is heavier than a feather, you are not going to heaven." Lies cannot go back into power, but the truth returns to power, because the truth is the reflection of power. It's the reflection of the infinite. The question becomes, how heavy are your lies? Is your heart burdened with anger, fear, guilt, regret? In the dream of the third attention, the truth has already destroyed all the lies, and the only thing that survives is the truth, which means the real you. You are that force, you are life, which is truth, and from that point, your dream becomes heaven. Your dream becomes a beautiful masterpiece of art, a beautiful masterpiece of love. This leads you to the third mastery of the Toltec, the mastery of love, or we can also call it the mastery of intent, or faith. I prefer to call it the mastery of faith because it's a mastery for you to trust in yourself, which means realizing the power that you have, the power of intent, the power of life, the power of belief, the power of faith, the power of love. They're all the same power, of course, they're total oa. In the moment when you master faith, you live your life in love, because love is what you are, and it's wonderful. In that moment, you completely accept your body, your emotions, your life, your story. You respect yourself. You respect all of the artists, all of your brothers and sisters. You respect all of creation. You love yourself unconditionally, and you are not afraid to express your love, to say, "I love you," to others. When you master faith, when you live your life in love, you see your own love being reflected in every secondary character of your story, and you love every secondary character of your story unconditionally, just as you love yourself. This changes your relationship with the rest of the humans. It makes you completely impersonal. You don't need reasons to love someone or not to love someone. You don't even choose to love, because to love is your nature. Love is coming out of you like the light from the sun. All of your nature is coming out of you just as it is, without expectations. And your love has nothing to do with words in your head. There are no stories. It's an experience that we call communion, which means to have the same frequency, the same vibration as love. This is how you used to be before you learned to speak, because you have evolved from the whole deep hell of the dream of the first attention into a better dream, the dream of the second attention, until you dream the dream of the third attention, where you know that everything you are seeing, everything you are dreaming, is a virtual reality made by light. For thousands of years, people have known that there are three worlds that exist within every human. In almost every philosophy and mythology, we find that people have divided everything into three worlds, but they have called them by different names and have used different symbols to describe them. As we have seen in the artist's tradition, which means the Toltec, these three worlds are known as the dream of the first attention, the dream of the second attention, and the dream of the third attention. In Greece and Egypt, they were known as the underworld, the world, and the Uir world. In the Christian tradition, they are known as hell, purgatory, and paradise. The concept of the world that we have today is in many ways different than what people understood thousands of years ago. For them, the world was not the planet. The world was everything that we can perceive, everything that we know. That is why it was said that every head is a world, because each of us creates an entire world in our head, and we live in that world. The majority of humans live in the dream of the first attention, the underworld. Another large part of humanity lives in the dream of the second attention, the world of the warriors, and it's because of this dream that humanity is going in the right direction and evolving the way it is. We usually believe that the upper world is all about goodness, and the underworld is all about fear and evil. But that's not exactly true. All three worlds exist within every human. We carry the underworld within us, just as we carry the upper world within us. In the underworld, a whole infinity exists, and in the upper world, there also exists a whole infinity. And both meet in the world, which is where we live. The way to the underworld becomes a choice, just as the way to the upper world becomes a choice. In the dream of the masters, we are aware that to make a choice is to have a power in our hands. We control our whole dream by making choices. Every choice has consequences, and a dream master is aware of the consequences. Making a choice can open many doors and close many other doors. Not making a choice is also a choice that we can make. By making choices, we can master the art of dreaming and create the most beautiful life. Anybody can be a great dream artist, but the mastery comes when we have complete control over our dream, which means we recover control of our own attention. When we master the attention, we really master intent, which means we have complete control over our choices. The dream of our life is going to go wherever we want to take it. In the ordinary dream of the humans, the belief system controls the attention. And because our personal power, our will, is weak, anyone can hook our attention and insert an opinion in our mind. The will, or intent, is the force that can move what exists, or change the direction of what exists. The will is what holds the attention and moves the attention. Once we have enough power that we can use our will, we gain control of the attention. Then we can finally gain control of our beliefs and win the war for the control of our dream. In the dream of the third attention, we are not putting our attention on life. We are life, we are the force, we are intent, and intent controls the attention. The dream of the third attention is the dream of pure intent. We become aware that we are life, not just as a concept, but as an action, as complete awareness. Now, we can see with the eyes of truth, and this is a completely different point of view. The first time you learn how to dream, your belief system creates millions of little barriers to the truth. When the structure of your belief system is no longer there, you take away the barriers and you no longer see only one point of view. There are many points of view that you can see at the same time. You see yourself not just from the point of view of a human, but from the point of view of a force. You see yourself not just as a force, but as the manifestation of that force. You know that you are light, that you are just an image in the light, and you use your attention to witness the dream from the point of view of light. You no longer see everything outside of you as if it's separate from you. You feel the totality of yourself in everything. You feel yourself as the only living being that exists, and you don't just feel it, you know it. As we said before, you understand what you are, but not with words. You don't need symbols. If you use symbols to understand what you are, you can get lost in the symbols while trying to understand yourself. You call yourself a human, and perhaps you identify with that symbol, but in China, you're not a human. In Spain, you're not a human. In Germany, you're not a human. Human is just one symbol, and what is the meaning of that symbol? You could write an entire book and use thousands of symbols to describe the meaning of human, and still you would leave something out, and it's just one symbol. Using symbols to understand what you are is nothing but nonsense. Whatever you think you are will never be the truth, because symbols are not the truth. If you say to a cat, "Hey, you dog," it won't care. It won't answer back. If you say to a person, "Hey, you dog," that person will surely respond, "I'm not a dog." Some people may be offended and others may laugh. It will be tragic for some and comic for others because we're dealing with different points of view. Do animals need to know the symbol for what they are? Well, they don't know and they don't care. They just are. They don't need symbols to justify their existence. If someone asks me what I am, I can say, I am a human being, I am a man, I am made out of energy, I am made out of matter, I am a father, I am a doctor. I can use symbols to identify what I am, to justify what I am, to try to understand myself, but the symbols don't mean anything really. The truth is, I don't know what I am. The only thing I know is that I am. I'm alive, and you can touch me. I'm dreaming, and I'm aware that I'm dreaming. Aside from that, nothing else is important, because everything else is just a story. Symbols will never tell me what I am or where I came from, and it's not important because I am going back there anyway. That's why one of my biggest heroes is the cartoon character Popeye, the sailor man, who says, "I am what I am and that's all that I am." That's wisdom. That's complete acceptance, which means complete respect for what I am, because I am truth. Maybe what I say is not truth, but I am truth. And it's the same with you. You're alive. You do exist. That's true. But what are you? The truth is, you don't know. You only know what you believe you are. You know what you learned that you are. You know what you were told that you are. You know what you pretend to be. You know the way you wish to be seen by other people. And for you, it may be true. But is it really true that you are what you say you are? I don't think so. Whatever you say about yourself is just symbology, and it is completely distorted by your beliefs. When you finally see yourself without all the knowledge that you've accumulated, the result is, I am. I am what I am, you are what you are, and the complete acceptance of whatever you are is what makes the difference. Once you completely accept what you are ready to enjoy life. There's no more judgment, no more guilt, no more shame, no more remorse. When you leave symbols aside, what remains is the bare truth, pure and simple. You don't need to know what you are, and this is a huge revelation. You don't need to pretend to be what you are not. You can be completely authentic, and because of that, you can deliver a message, and that message is the real you. Your resents is the message. It's the same presence you can feel when your first child is born and you finally hold it in your hands. You can feel the presence of the divinity in your hands without understanding anything, without any words. Every newborn baby has the same presence. It's God, the infinite, an angel incarnate, and we are programmed to react to the presence of a baby. The baby doesn't need to say a word. The presence of the baby says everything. Just its presence awakens the need to give, to protect. When it's your own baby, the instinct is even stronger. And then the presence is really something incredible. That presence awakens your generosity, and you just start giving to your child without expecting anything back, until perhaps a certain point when your child grows up. And it seems as if that presence was lost. When you were born, your presence was enough to awaken an instinct in the people around you to give you attention, to protect you, to try to fulfill your needs. You still have that presence, but it has been repressed for a long time. It has been waiting to come out. To really feel your presence, you need to be completely aware. You need to see your whole creation from another point of view, from a place where everything is simple. When you're not aware, everything looks completely illogical, and fear takes over and creates the big mitote. The fifth agreement is an important part of recovering what you are, because it uses the power of doubt to break all those spells you've been under. It's a very strong intent for you to use your magic to recover the presence that you lost a long time ago. When all of your attention is not on your story, you can see what is real. You can feel what is real. When you are not possessed by a symbology, you recover the presence you had when you were born, and the emotions of the people around you respond to your presence. Then you give other people the only thing you really have, which is yourself, your presence, and that makes a huge difference. But this only happens when you become completely authentic. Just imagine becoming the way you used to be as a very young child, before you understood the meaning of any symbol, before knowledge took over your mind. When you recover your presence, you are just like a flower, just like the wind, just like the ocean, just like the sun, just like the light. You are just like you. There is nothing to justify. There is nothing to believe. You are here just to be, for no reason. You have no mission except to enjoy life, to be happy. The only thing you need is just to be the real you. Be authentic. Be the presence. Be happiness. Be love. Be joy. Be yourself. That's the main point. That's wisdom. Those who are not yet wise are searching for perfection. They're searching for God. They're searching for heaven and trying to find it. Well, there's nothing to search for. It's already here. Everything is within you. You don't have to search for heaven. You are heaven right now. You don't have to search for happiness. You are happiness wherever you are. You don't have to search for the truth. You are the truth. You don't have to search for perfection. That's an illusion. You don't have to search for yourself. You never left yourself. You don't have to search for God. God never left you. God is always with you. You are always with yourself. If you don't see God everywhere, it's because your attention is focused on all those gods you really believe in. The presence of the infinite is everywhere, but if you're in darkness, you don't see what is there. You don't see it because you only see your own knowledge. You guide your creation through that dream, and when your knowledge can't explain what is happening in your life, you feel threatened. What you know is what you want to know, and whatever threatens your knowledge makes you feel insecure. But the moment will come when you realize that knowledge is nothing but a description of a dream. You are the unknowable. You are here just to be in this moment, in this dream. Being has nothing to do with knowledge. It's not about understanding. You don't need to understand. It's not about learning. You are here to unlearn, and that's it, until one day you realize you know nothing. You only know what you believe, what you learned, just to find out that it wasn't the truth. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of all time, took his whole life to get to the point where he said, "As for me, all I know is that I know nothing." Becoming a seer, a new point of view. 2,000 years ago, a great master said, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Well, now you know that the truth is what you are. The next step is to see the truth, to see what you are. Only then are you free. Free of what? Free of all the distortions in your knowledge, free of all the emotional drama that is the consequence of believing in lies. When the truth sets you free, the symbols you learned are no longer ruling your world. Then it's not about being right or wrong, or good or bad. It's not about being a winner or a loser. It's not about being young or old, beautiful or ugly. All that is over. It was nothing but symbols. You'll know that you are totally free when you no longer have to be the you that you pretend to be. This freedom is profound. It's the freedom to be the real you, and it's the greatest gift that you can give yourself. Imagine living without fear, without judgment, without blame, without guilt, without shame. Imagine living your life without trying to please other people's points of view, and not even your own point of view according to your own book of law. Imagine how different your life would be if you lived with gratitude, love, loyalty, and justice, beginning with yourself. Just imagine the union between you and your body if you were completely loyal to your body, if you were completely grateful for your body, if you treated your body with justice. Imagine being yourself and not trying to convince anybody of anything. Imagine that just by being yourself, you are happy, and that wherever you go, heaven is going with you, because you are heaven. Imagine living with this kind of freedom. Yes, the truth will set you free, but first you need to see the truth. I want you to see if the story of you is the truth or is not the truth. Just witness what is without any judgment, because whatever you're creating is perfect. See your environment, the frame of your dream, all around you. See your beliefs, the way they're reflected in the story of your life. See where your attention is bringing your whole dream. I don't mean for you to think about it, I mean for you to see, and seeing is not thinking. Is it the truth? Well, if it's not the truth, now you know that you don't have to believe it. Instead of believing, learn to see. What you believe, you distort right away according to your knowledge. But when you let go of knowledge and go beyond symbols, at a certain point in your life, you start to become a seer. A seer is a dreamer who has mastered the dream, who has learned to see. Artist, dreamer, messenger, seer, there are so many ways to name you. I prefer to call you an artist because your whole creation is a masterpiece of art. This is your chance to see your creation, to see what is, to see the truth. But first, you have to let go of everything that is not truth, everything that is nothing but a superstition or lie. If you're willing to invite the truth, you will find that your story, whatever you say it is completely false. You know that the story of you is not the truth. You just need the courage to let go of what you are not, to let go of the past, to detach from your story, because your story is not you. The moment you no longer believe all the lies that you have been telling yourself, you find out that it doesn't matter how painful it is. The truth is 1,000,000 times better than believing in lies. In any novel, in any movie or real-life drama, the highest point of the story is the moment of truth. Before then, all of the drama in the story is building and building. The tension keeps escalating until the truth arrives like a tidal wave and destroys all the lies. In the moment of crisis, the lies can't survive the presence of the truth, and they disappear. There's no more tension. Peace returns with the truth, and we feel relieved that the drama is over. Of course, when the truth arrives in your own story, everything you believe feels threatened. Fear takes over and says, "Help. The entire structure of my life, everything I've ever believed in, is falling apart. What am I going to do without all my lies? If I don't believe everything anymore, if I don't gossip anymore, I'll have nothing to say." Exactly. This is what I've been trying to tell you. People ask me, if I no longer believe all the symbols, if I take my faith out of every word, how can I communicate with anyone? How can I survive in life without the foundation of what I know? As you can see, the power of doubt is working in their minds, and it's even bigger than before. Well, if you remember the way you used to be, before you learn to speak, when you were just like the rest of the animals, you will see that at that time you could communicate without words, without using your intellect, without using words. I want you to recover what you used to be long ago, to go back to the authenticity that you had before you learned to speak and experience the truth. I want you to go directly into your heart and search for the truth with no words, to find your authentic self and bring it out with all of your power. The highest point of your journey back to you is the moment when you finally see yourself through the eyes of truth. If you can see your authentic self, you will love what you see. You see the magnificence of your presence. You see how wonderful and beautiful you are. You see the perfection in you, and this breaks any doubt that anyone else ever put in your head. You see that you are light, that you are life, and when you accept your own divinity, you become a better reflection of life. You are here to enjoy life. You are not here to suffer over your drama or your personal importance. It's not you. It doesn't belong to your presence. You are here to be a dreamer, to be an artist, to be a seer. But you cannot be a seer when you only have eyes to see your own story, your own wounds, your own victimization. When you are still focusing on what your mother did to you 20 years ago, or 40 years ago, or what your father did, or what your partner did, or what any of the other secondary characters in your story did to you, then you are not seeing the truth. If you are focusing on all that drama, then talking to you is like talking to a wall. Does this ring any bells someplace? Before you become a seer, you are far from the simplicity of life, very far from it. You believe that you know everything. You have so many great opinions and you try to impose your opinions on everybody else. Once you become a seer, everything changes. As a seer, you see what people pretend to be, what they express, what they believe they are. You know that it's not the truth. You know that everybody is just pretending. What are they pretending? You don't know exactly. You can't read the minds of all those secondary characters that you create. You hardly know what you're pretending. But something you can see behind all that pretending is the real person. And how can you not love the real person? Just like you, the real person comes from the infinite. The real person has nothing to do with the symbols that come from the voice of knowledge. The real person has nothing to do with any story. When you become a seer, you see what is behind the story. You understand other people, but they don't understand themselves. There's no way they will understand you, and they don't have to. The majority of humans don't have the awareness that you have. They don't know why they are the way they are. They have no idea. They just survive. They don't have to believe everybody, but they believe everybody anyway. They don't trust themselves at all. They have no idea how great they are. They only see their knowledge, which surrounds them like a wall of fog. Imagine being the only sober person in the middle of 1,000 people who are completely drunk. Are you going to have a discussion with people like that? Do you really want to believe them? You know that whatever they say isn't the truth. And you know this because you used to be drunk too, and everything you said wasn't the truth either. With awareness, you can easily understand how those minds were prepared to become what they are. But just because you have awareness, it doesn't mean that you are better than anyone else. Being aware doesn't make you superior, and it doesn't make you more intelligent. It has nothing to do with intelligence. Knowing this, of course, you are completely humble. You just don't care. But there are two ways of I don't care. There's the way of the victim in the dream of the first attention, and that I don't care is just a lie, because victims really do care, and they get very hurt and injured. They have all those emotional wounds that are full of poison and a defense mechanism that says, "Oh, I don't care." Of course they care, and of course you won't believe that I don't care. When you're a seer, humans are extremely predictable. You can see that all humans in the dream of the victims are possessed by the main character of their story. This is their point of view, their only point of view. The way they see life is very narrow, and it's narrow because their beliefs act like a mirror that only shows them what they believe, and it's obvious that it's not truth at all. They project what they believe on you, and you perceive what they project on you, but you don't take it personally because you don't make the assumption that what they are projecting is true. You know that what they project is what they believe about themselves, and you know that because you used to do the same thing once you become a seer. You see everything that other artists do to themselves, but your point of view is completely impersonal. The process of unlearning takes you to a place where there's no longer a judge and a victim in your story. It's just a story. And you know that it's your creation, but it's just as if it's happening to somebody else. You see all the stories, you see all the symbols, you see how people play with all of that, but it has no effect on you. It doesn't offend you, because you are completely immune. You see faces, you love the faces, but you are also aware that there's something that doesn't belong to your dream. It's the personal dream that other artists are dreaming, and you have complete respect for their dream, for their creation. Respect is a beautiful word, and it's one of the most important symbols that we can understand. Imagine that you had never heard the word before, and let's make it up and agree on a meaning, because just like any other symbol, we need to agree with the symbol or it won't work for us. Respect, like many of the symbols, begins with ourselves and then it goes out to everyone and everything around us. If we don't respect ourselves, how can we respect anyone or anything else? When you respect yourself, this means you accept yourself just the way you are. When you respect other people, this means you accept them just the way they are. When you respect everything in nature, the animals, the oceans, the atmosphere, the earth, this means you accept the entire creation just the way it is. When we arrive in this world, everything was created already. It wasn't our choice to see what had to be created or not. It was done, and we respect it. Can we do it better? Maybe, but I don't think so. Then respect is about the complete acceptance of everything that exists just the way it is, not the way we want it to be. This is more or less one meaning of the word res-ECT. Once you accept yourself just the way you are, you no longer have any judgments about yourself. Once you accept everybody else just the way they are, you no longer have any judgments about them. Then something incredible happens in your world. You find peace. You are not in conflict with yourself, and you are not in conflict with anyone else. All of the conflict that exists in humanity is because there is no respect. Every war is because we didn't respect the other artist's way of life. Instead of respecting their rights, we start imposing what we believe on others. Instead of peace, there is war. Respect is like a boundary. What we call our rights and respect go together. We have our rights just as everything that exists in the universe has its rights. We live in a world that we share with billions of other beings, and respect makes it possible for all dreamers to live in harmony, to live in peace. In the dream of the second attention, we begin to create our personal heaven, and when we reach the dream of the third attention, our life is heaven. Heaven is a kingdom where we are the king or the queen. I have my personal kingdom, and it's heaven, but it wasn't always heaven. It became heaven the moment that I no longer judged myself or anybody else. When I decided to respect my kingdom completely, and when I learned to respect everybody else's kingdom. The fifth agreement is also about respect because I respect other artists when I listen to their story. Instead of helping other artists to write their story, I allow them to write their own. I will never be the one who writes your story, just as I will never allow anyone to write mine. I respect your mind, your dream, your creation. I respect whatever you believe. I respect you when I don't try to tell you how to live your life, how to dress, how to walk, how to talk, how to do whatever you do in your kingdom. As soon as I try to control your kingdom, I'm not respecting you anymore, and we are going to be in a war of control for your kingdom. If I try to control you in that intent to control you, I lose my freedom. Then my freedom is to let you be whatever you are, whatever you want to be. It's not my job to change your virtual reality. It's my job to change myself. You are the king or queen of your kingdom. It's your creation, it's where you live, and it's all yours. You are dreaming your kingdom and you can be intensely happy in your own kingdom. How? First, you need to respect your own kingdom, or very soon that kingdom will be hell and not heaven anymore. Second, you will not allow anyone else to disrespect your kingdom. Whoever disrespects your kingdom is going out of your kingdom. It's your kingdom. It's your life. You have the right to live your own life in your own way, and there is no wrong way. The wrong way is just. Another judgment that we create. Once you have won your personal war, you have no judgments about anything, and other people's judgments don't affect you. Of course, you make mistakes like everybody else, but there's perfect justice in your head. You pay only once for every mistake, and because you are kind to yourself, because you love yourself, the payment is very little. Perhaps these words that I am sharing with you will have a meaning that makes sense to that voice that lives in your head, and perhaps that voice can start dreaming with this new information and decide to stop being a tyrant, to stop judging you, to stop punishing you. The day of your last judgment could almost be here. It's up to you. If you can convince the tyrant to stop judging, then very soon everything will change for you. Imagine that instead of being your adversary, the tyrant becomes your ally. And instead of guiding your life into drama, it helps you to keep the peace. When the tyrant becomes your ally, it never goes against you again. It never sabotages you again. It facilitates whatever you want to create. Then the mind becomes a powerful tool of the spirit. It becomes a powerful ally. The result is a completely different dream, your personal heaven. In the dream of heaven, you completely surrender to life, knowing that everything is just the way it is. And because you accept everything as it is, you no longer worry about anything. Your life becomes exciting because there's no more fear. You know that you are doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, and that everything that has happened was meant to happen. Even what you consider your worst mistakes were meant to happen because they have led you to greater awareness. Even the worst thing that can happen to you is meant to happen because it's going to push you to grow. What is the worst thing that can happen to any of us? To die? We are all going to die, and there's nothing we can do. We can enjoy the ride or resist it and suffer. Resistance, however, is futile. We are programmed to be what we are, and we can only be whatever we are. But inside our virtual reality, we can go against our own programming, and that's how we create a whole world of resistance. The struggling is just the resistance, and resistance creates suffering. When you surrender to life, everything changes just like magic. You surrender to that force that is coming through your body, through your mind, and it's a whole new way to see life. It's a way of being. It's being life. You are happy because you are truth. You are happy wherever you are, whatever you do. Even when you are bored, You enjoy life. Even when you create problems, you enjoy life. You are free, and it's the freedom of a dream master who is not attached to the dream. You hook into the dream with your attention, and you unhook from it whenever you want. The outside dream wants to hook your attention, and you allow it to make the connection, but you can break it at any time. From one moment to another, you can change what you are dreaming and start all over again. In every moment, you make the choice of what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. But not with words. You don't need to make a story, but you can if you want to. In your story, you can blame the whole world for whatever is happening to you, or you can take responsibility for your story, be the artist, see the story, and change it in whatever way that you want to change it. You can be rich, or you can be poor. It's not important. You can have fame or not, and it's not important. To have fame in the world of darkness I don't think is fun at all. To be a ruler of hell I don't think is fun, but it's a choice, and you can make that choice. If you take responsibility for your creation, you can create anything you want in your life. You can rewrite your story. You can recreate your dream. And if you decide to put your love into your creation, you can change all the stories that used to be a drama into the most wonderful romantic comedies. Perhaps you're not finished with your story, and who knows if you'll ever finish it or not. Honestly, it's not that important. Whatever you do with your life is not that important. Whatever anybody else does with their life is not important, and it's not your business. Hardly anything is that important. But we can say that one thing is important, and it's life itself, its intent by itself, the Creator. The creation is not that important. The manifestation will change day by day, moment to moment, generation to generation. Life is eternal, but your dream only exists while you live in the physical body. Whatever you did here, you won't take with you. You don't need it. You never did. You never will. But this does not mean that you will not create. Of course, you will create, because it's your nature to create. You are always creating. You are always expressing yourself. You were born an artist, and your art is the expression of your spirit. It's the expression of that force that you are. You know how powerful you are, and that power is real. You know what you learned, and you know that all your knowledge is not real. The truth is happening right in front of you. To experience life is to experience truth. To see the truth makes a huge difference in your world. To become the truth is the real goal, because that is the real you. What is not truth is not important. Your desire for the truth and your love for the truth is what is important, and that is the real teaching. The three languages. What kind of messenger are you? The fifth agreement is the most advanced teaching of the Toltec, because it prepares us to return to what we really are, messengers of truth. We deliver a message every time we speak, and if we don't deliver the truth, it's because we aren't aware of what we really are. Well, the four agreements help us to recover awareness of what we are. They help us to become aware of the power of our word. But the real goal is the fifth agreement, because it takes us beyond symbology and makes us responsible for the creation of every word. The fifth agreement helps us to recover the power of belief that we invested in symbols. And when we go beyond symbols, the power that we find is incredible, because it's the power of the artistic creator, the power of life, the real us. The fifth agreement is for what I call messenger training, or angel training, because it's for messengers who are aware that they have a message to deliver. Angel is a Greek word meaning messenger. Angels really exist, but not the angels of religion with wings. We are all messengers. We are all angels, but we don't have wings. and we don't believe in angels with wings. The religious story about angels with wings is just a symbol, and as a symbol, the wings mean that angels can fly. Angels fly and they deliver information, a message, and the real message is life, or truth. But there are so many messengers in this world who don't deliver life, who don't deliver truth. The world is populated by billions of messengers with or without awareness. It's obvious that the majority are without awareness. They are programmed to deliver and receive a message, but they don't know they are messengers. The majority of the humans on Earth have no idea that the symbols are their own creation. They have no idea where the power of the symbols comes from, which means that the symbols have complete control over them. What kind of messengers are they? The answer is obvious. You see the consequences in the world. Just look around and you will find out what kind of messengers they are. When you find that out, the fifth agreement makes even more sense. Be skeptical, but learn to listen. What will make a difference in these messengers? The answer is awareness. That is what messenger training does for us. It helps us to become aware of the kind of message that we are delivering in this world. From the Toltec point of view, there are only 3 ways to deliver a message. Or we can say that there are only 3 languages in the world of the humans: the language of gossip, the language of the warrior, and the language of truth. The language of gossip is the one that all humans speak. Everybody knows how to gossip. When we speak this language, our message is distorted. We gossip about everything around us, but mainly we gossip about ourselves. If we go to another country where people speak a different language, we find that it doesn't matter what symbology they use, they speak like us, in the language of gossip, in what I call the big mitote. In the ordinary dream without awareness, the big mitote takes over the human mind and creates all the misunderstandings, all the distortions in the way we interpret the meaning of words. The language of gossip is the language of the victim. It's the language of injustice and punishment. It's the language of hell, because all that gossip is made purely by lies. But humans will always gossip because we are programmed to gossip until something shifts inside of us that is also in the program. This is when we rebel against the gossiping and the war begins in our head, the war between truth and lies. The second language is that of the warrior. When we speak this language, sometimes we speak the truth, and sometimes we speak lies depending on our awareness. Sometimes we believe the lies, which takes us directly to hell, and sometimes we believe the truth, which takes us directly to heaven. But we still believe, which means the symbols still have the power of our belief. As warriors, we jump from one dream to the other dream. Sometimes we are in heaven. Sometimes we are in hell. As you can imagine, the language of the warrior is 1,000 times better than the language of gossip. But again, humans are programmed to shift the language we speak and to speak one more language. The third language is the language of truth, and when we speak this language, we hardly speak. At this point, we know without a doubt that the symbols we use are our creation. We know that we give the meaning to all those symbols to communicate with our own kind, and we use symbols with impeccability, the best we can, to deliver our message, to deliver ourselves, because we are the message. Finally, there are no more lies, and there are no more lies because we have mastered awareness, because we see ourselves as life, as truth. The language of truth is very exclusive because it's the language of the dream master, the artist who has mastered the dream. In the world of the master, there is always music, there is always art, There is always beauty. The master artists are always happy. They are at peace, and they enjoy their lives. These three ways of communicating are what I call the languages of 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, and Do, Re, Mi. The language of gossip is 1, 2, 3 because it's simple to learn, and it's the language that everybody speaks. The language of the warrior is A, B, C, because the warrior is the one who rebels against the tyranny of the symbols. The language of truth is Do, Re, Mi, because it's for artists who have music in their heads instead of a big mitote. The language of Do, Re, Mi is the one that I like to speak. My head is always full of music because music distracts the mind, and when the mind is not in the way, it's pure intent. I know that all that music in my head is nothing but a dream, but at least I'm not thinking and making a story. Of course, I can make a story if I want to, and it can be a beautiful story. I can focus my attention on the symbols and use the symbols that you understand to communicate with you. I can also use the symbols to hear what you say. Usually it is about your own story. You tell me many things that you believe are true, and I know they are not. But when you tell me, I listen. And then I know exactly where you are coming from. I see what perhaps you don't see. I see the real you, not what you pretend to be. What you pretend to be is so complicated that I don't even bother to try to understand it. I know it is not you. The real you is your presence, and it's as beautiful and wonderful as anything on this earth. When you see a rose, open and beautiful, its very presence makes you feel wonderful. You don't need to tell yourself how wonderful that rose is. You can see all the beauty and romance of that rose. You smell the rose, and the rose never says a word. You understand the message, but not with words. If you go to a forest, you see birds talking to birds and trees talking to trees with another kind of symbology. You can see the inner communication of everything around you, and it's amazing. There are messengers everywhere in this world, but have you ever thought about it? Have you ever noticed that since you arrived in this world, you've always been delivering a message? Even before you were born, when your mother became aware that she was pregnant, your message was there. Your parents could hardly wait for your arrival, for the moment of your birth. They knew that a miracle was happening, and as soon as you were born, you delivered the message right away, with no words. They felt your presence. It was the birth of an angel, and the message was you. You were the message, and you still are the message, but you've been distorted by the reflection of the other messengers. It's not the messenger's fault. It's not your fault. And in fact, it's nobody's fault. The distortion is perfect because only perfection exists. But then you grow up, you become aware, and you can choose to deliver a different message. You can choose to become a better reflection of life by changing the language you speak. You can change the way you deliver a message, the way you communicate with yourself and with other people. Now, a simple question for you. I want you to understand the question, but don't allow that voice in your head to answer the question. Just allow these words to go directly into your heart, where you can feel the meaning and intent behind the words. This is the question. What kind of messenger are you? This is not a judgment, it's just a little doubt for your mind, but it's a big step into awareness. If you understand the question, then just this little doubt can change your whole life. What kind of messenger are you? Do you deliver the truth, or do you deliver lies? Do you perceive the truth, or do you only perceive lies? The whole thing is between the truth and lies. This is the core of the problem, and this is what makes all the difference, because all conflict, whether it's inner conflict or conflict between humans, is the result of delivering lies and believing in lies. What kind of messenger are you? Are you a messenger of gossip and lies? Do you feel comfortable with all the lies, with all the gossip, with all the drama that comes as a result of believing in lies? Is that what you share with everyone around you? Is that what you teach your children? Do you still blame your parents for your troubles? Remember, they did the best they could. If your parents abused you, it wasn't personal. It was due to their own fears. It was due to what they believed. If they abused you, it's because they were also abused. If they hurt you, it's because they were also hurt. It's an ongoing chain of action-reaction. Are you going to continue being a part of that chain, or is it over with you? What kind of messenger are you? Are you the warrior who struggles in between heaven and hell? Do you still believe people who tell you this is the truth? Do you still believe your own lies? What kind of message are you delivering to the people you love the most if the message that you deliver to yourself is guiding you into hell? What kind of message are you delivering to your children whom you love so much? What kind of message are you delivering to your beloved, to your parents, to your siblings, to your friends, to everyone around you? What kind of messenger are you? If you tell me what kind of dream you're creating for yourself, I will tell you what kind of messenger you are. How do you treat yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you respect other people? How do you feel about yourself? Do you even like yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Are you happy with yourself? Is there any drama or injustice in your dream? Does your dream have a judge and a victim? Is it a dream of predators, a dream of violence? If so, your dream is distorting your message. The judge, the victim, and all those voices in your head are distorting everything. Right now, you're delivering a message to yourself and to everyone else around you. You're always delivering a message, and you're always receiving a message from one mind to another mind. What is the message that you are delivering in this world? Is the message impeccable? Do you even notice that you are always using symbols? Just observe the messages that you're delivering. Are the words that you're speaking coming from the truth, or are they coming from the voice of knowledge, the tyrant, the big judge? Who's delivering the message? Is it the real you? This is your dream. If it's not the real you, then who is delivering the message? Isn't that a good question? Can you see the impact of the words that you reflect to others as you speak? Just imagine that you are talking to a wall. Don't expect an answer. It's not for the wall to hear what you're saying. It's for you to see what is coming out of your mouth. It's for you to begin to see the impact of your words on everything around you. By talking to a wall, your message becomes more and more clear. After that, the importance of impeccability becomes obvious. Now, I want you to use your imagination to see the kind of interactions that you have had in your entire life with other people. I'm sure you have lots of memories of your interactions with everybody around you. People are always delivering messages to you, and you're always perceiving their messages. What kind of messengers are the other people in your life? What kind of messages did they deliver to you during your whole life? How did all those messages affect you? Out of all the messages that you received from other people, how many of those messages did you agree with and take as your own? How many of those messages are you still delivering now? If you're delivering somebody else's messages, whose messages are you delivering? Just have the awareness of the kind of messages that you've delivered your entire life and the kind of messages that you've received your entire life. You don't need to judge anyone, including yourself. Just ask, what kind of messenger am I? What kind of messengers are the other Eola in my life? This is a big step in the mastery of awareness. It's a big step in being a seer. Once you are aware of the messages that you're delivering and the messages that other people are delivering to you, your point of view shifts strongly and firmly. You clearly see the messages that other people are delivering to you, and you clearly see what kind of messenger they are, then the moment comes when your awareness is so expansive that you clearly see the messages that you're delivering to other people. You see exactly what kind of messenger you are. You see the effect of your words, the effect of your actions, the effect of your presence. You are always delivering a message to everyone and everything around you, but mainly you are always delivering a message to yourself. What is the message? That message is the most important one, because that message affects your whole life. Are you the master who delivers the truth? Are you the victim who delivers lies? Well, it doesn't really matter if you are the master or if you are the messenger of gossip full of poison, or if you are the warrior and you go up and down from heaven to hell, from hell to heaven. You deliver the information that you have inside you. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. It's what you know. It's what you learned your whole life. And it doesn't really matter what you learned. It doesn't really matter what you have been teaching, what you have been sharing. What really matters is to be what you really are, to be authentic, to enjoy life, to be love. And not the symbol of love that humans have distorted, but real love, the feeling you can't put into words, the love that is the result of being what you really are. Always remember, you are the force that's creating everything in existence. You are the force that opens a flower and moves the clouds, and the earth, and the stars, and the galaxies. Whatever your message, love yourself anyway, because of what you are, because you Ruiz echt what you are. You don't have to be different unless you decide that you love yourself so much that you are no longer satisfied with the kind of messenger you are. Perhaps you've misused the word because you were innocent, because you didn't have awareness. But what happens when you have awareness and you're still doing it? Once you have awareness, you cannot claim innocence anymore. You know exactly what you're doing, and whatever you're doing is still perfect. But now it's your decision. It's your choice. Now the question becomes, what kind of message do you choose to deliver? Is it truth or is it lies? Is it love or is it fear? My choice is to deliver a message of truth and love. What is yours? Epilogue. Help me to change the world. If you are no longer satisfied with the kind of messenger you are, if you want to become a messenger of truth and love, then I invite you to participate in a new dream for humanity, one in which all of us can live in harmony, truth, and love. In this dream, people of all religions and all philosophies are not just welcome, but respected. Each of us has the right to believe whatever we want to believe, to follow any religion or philosophy we want to follow. It doesn't matter whether we believe in Christ, Moses, Allah, Brahma, Buddha, or any other being or master. Everybody is welcome to share this dream. I don't expect you to believe all my stories, but if they resonate inside you, if you can feel the truth behind the words, then let's make one more agreement. Help me to change the world. Of course, the very first question is, how are you going to change the world? The answer is easy, by changing your world. When I ask you to help me to change the world, I'm not talking about planet Earth. I'm referring to the virtual world that exists in your head. The change begins with you. You will not help me to change the world if you don't change your own world first. You will change the world by loving yourself, by enjoying life, by making your personal world a dream of heaven. And I ask you for your help because you are the only one who can change your world. If you decide that you want to change your world, the easiest way is by using the tools that are nothing but common sense. The 5 agreements are tools to change your world. If you are impeccable with your word, if you don't take anything personally, if you don't make assumptions, if you always do your best, and if you are skeptical while listening, there won't be any more war in your head. There will be peace. If you practice the 5 agreements, your world becomes better, and you want to share your happiness with the people you love. But changing the world is not about changing the secondary characters of your story. If you want to change the world, your world, the way to do it is by changing the main character of your story. If you change the main character, then just like magic, all the secondary characters will start to change also. When you change, your children will change, because the message that you deliver to them will change. The message that you deliver to your wife or your husband will change. Your relationship with your friends will change. Perhaps more important, your relationship with yourself will change. When you change the message you deliver to yourself, you are happier. And just by being happier, the people who live around you will also benefit. Your effort is really for everyone because your joy, your happiness, your heaven are contagious. When you're happy, the people around you are happy too, and it inspires them to change their own world. We represent a whole legacy. And when I say we, I'm speaking for all humans. Our legacy is love, it's joy, it's happiness. Let's enjoy this world. Let's enjoy one another. We are meant to love one another, not to hate one another. Let's stop believing that our differences make us superior or inferior to one another. Let's not believe that lie. Let's not be afraid that our different colors make us different people. Who cares? It's just another lie. We don't have to believe all the lies and superstitions that have control of our lives. This is the time to end all the lies and superstitions that are not helping anybody. This is the time to end the fanaticism. We can return to the truth and be messengers of truth. We have a message to deliver, and that message is our legacy. When we were children, we received the legacy of our parents and our ancestors. We received a wonderful world, and it's our turn to offer our children and grandchildren a planet where they can live as wonderfully and as well as we do now. We can stop destroying our planet. We can stop destroying one another. The humans can live in harmony. It's incredible what we can do if we really want to do it. All we need is to be aware of what we are doing and to return to our authenticity. I know that we have our differences because we live in our personal dream, but we can respect one another's dream. We can agree to work together, knowing that each of us is the center of our own dream. Each one of us has our own beliefs, our own story, our own point of view. There are billions of different points of view, but it's the same light, the same force of life behind each one of us. Help me to change the world is an invitation to be authentic, to be free. Open your heart to receive this agreement. I'm not asking you to try to change the world. Don't try to do it, just do it. Take the action today. The legacy that we leave to our children and grandchildren can be magnificent. We can change our whole way of thinking and show them how to have a love affair with life. We can live in our personal heaven that follows us wherever we go. It's not true that we come to this planet to suffer. This beautiful planet Earth is not a valley of tears. Our new way of thinking can replace all those lies and take us to a wonderful place to live life. Wherever I go, I hear people say that we come here with a mission, that we have something to do in this life, something to transcend. Whatever it is, I don't know. I believe that we come here with a mission, but our mission is not really to transcend anything. The mission that you have, and the same mission is true for all of us, is to make yourself happy. The how could be millions of different ways of doing what you love to do, but the mission of your life is to enjoy every single moment of your life. We know that sooner or later our physical bodies will no longer exist. We only have a few sunrises, a few sunsets, a few full moons that we can enjoy. This is our time to be alive, to be fully present, to enjoy ourselves, to enjoy one another. In the last century, science and technology have grown so fast, but psychology has stayed far behind. It's time for psychology to catch up with science and technology. It's time for us to change our beliefs about the human mind, and what I see right now is almost an emergency, because with computers and the internet the way they are right now, lies can go all around the world very quickly and get completely out of control. The time is coming when humans will no longer believe in lies. We begin with ourselves. But the goal is to change the entire humanity, not just our own world. But how can we change the entire humanity if we don't change our own world first? Of course, it's not easy to separate, because in reality, we have to do both at the same time. Then let's make a difference in this world. Let's win the war in our head and change the world. How long will it take for the entire world to change? 2 or 3 or 4 generations. The truth is that we don't care how long it will take. We are not in a hurry, but we have no time to lose. Help me to change the world. Thank you for listening, my friends. I hope you liked this book. I know these videos are very simple with just pictures and audio, but I meant this content to be more like a podcast and audiobook go-to channel. If you are genuinely satisfied with this video, please give it a like and share with me what kind of books you would like to listen to. I'll be more than happy to publish them for you. Cheers.